Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is Crochet Podcast number 97. I do have some finished objects to show you, and then I was going to talk a little bit about upcoming Vlogmas. And at the end of the video, I have a bread recipe. It's for the bread machine, but we just had Thanksgiving, and I thought it was perfect time to make some bread because of Thanksgiving leftovers, for sandwiches. And I thought, why not just bring you guys along with me, and we could make some bread together. So the first finished object that I have, I actually finished a while ago, but I kept forgetting to show you guys. Now, I did make this for my sister, but I kept forgetting to give it to her for her birthday, so now I'm going to save it for her birthday for next year. And it is this cute little birthday cake gnome. So for this gnome, I used a pattern by Lucy Magic Patterns on Etsy. And let me just make sure got it in the camera. There we go. Lucy Magic Patterns on Etsy. I used all Katona. Oh, nope. I used some Katona and some durable coral minis. So I used Katona root beer for the brown, coral ivory and coral pale pink for the white and the peachy parts, and then coral light purple for the rest. So the pink for the candle and the flame is just a scrap that I had in my desk, or my nightstand, not nightstand, but like side table beside my chair. So that's it. And then her braids is just different colors of purple yarn and brushed out and then braided up. But I kept forgetting to show you guys this cute little gnome, so sorry about that, but it's better late than ever, right? The next finished object that I have, let me bring it up in my Yarnal app here so I can tell you all about it, is this F-bomb right here. The pattern is by the Crocheting Mom. It is a free pattern, so I will link obviously all of these patterns down below. I used a 4mm hook for this, scraps of red, silver, black, white, and red, yellow, and orange. That was all scraps that I got used. I did make this for a gentleman I work with. I made him an F-bomb a long time ago, and he had it, and someone kind of covertly stole it, like right in front of our faces, and it's gone. But I told him I would make him another one, so there's that. Forgot to tell you guys, I used a 2.20mm hook on her. And the same gentleman that I made the F-bomb for, he recently went to Germany for vacation, and I asked that he find a German yarn store and bring me back some yarn, and he very much did. I did not have faith that he would do it because, all of the things that he was doing on his own. But he went to this store right here. Let's see. Is it gonna do? It says Wool Winkle Hooks and Yarn. So you can go to www.hooksandyarn.com and go. So he did bought this in Amsterdam. So he went to a couple different countries while he was over there. But it is Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift. It is 25-gram balls. And it's 100% pure Shetland wool, grown and spun in the Shetland Islands. So he got me this color, which is called Artichoke. It's a nice green color. He got me this color called Sand. We have this color. It's called Pebble. And the last color, and it's my favorite color, it's called Rye. It's got like some little green hues in it. Try to get a good, oh, there we go. It's very pretty. So I got these 4 balls, very special yarn, and I'm going to combine it with some other yarns that I have that I don't think I have any 100% wool yarns, but I'm going to try to figure out if I do. If I don't, I'm going to get me some, and I'm going to make me something real pretty and special with that yarn. So that is all of the yarny business that I have today. I don't really have like a whole lot, but I wanted to come on here and hang out with you guys. I am currently working on another project. Made myself some tea. Sorry about that. I'm working on another project. I've been working on it for a couple months. So Julie, if you're watching, I'm real sorry it's taken me forever. But I am and have been working on it. It's just not been a lot. Oh, I do have some pictures to insert. I'm going to start popping them in now. It's of us in our hats for Thanksgiving. Everyone seemed to really like their hats. Everywhere that we wore our hats out into public, people were, you know, like, oh, that's so cool, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And so I think that they were a big hit. And I really enjoyed making them and getting them finished, and hopefully we can wear them again next year. So Thanksgiving went good. It was a busy Thanksgiving this year. My aunt, she's still recovering from her stroke in the nursing home, and it's generally my mom and my aunt who are the big cook contributors to Thanksgiving. So without my aunt this year, the rest of us kind of had to step up a little bit. So it was a busy 2 days because we started prepping on Wednesday. So pretty much I worked all day Wednesday on prepping. We got all of the desserts minus the banana pudding made on that day, on Wednesday. And then got like the macaroni and cheese prepped and ready for the oven. We got the baked beans prepped and ready for the oven. And we got the coleslaw made. We got the eggs boiled for the deviled eggs. I made some pasta salad, got that finished. Yeah, so we done a lot of work on Wednesday. And then Thursday, it was like all the way up until the moment that we ate. We were busy, you know, with the turkey, finishing the eggs up, all of that stuff. So I really put in a lot of work this year. So, but the food was good. It was most excellent. Everybody who comes to Thanksgiving always knows we send home lots and lots of leftovers. So they usually come prepared with their own like Tupperware or take-home containers. This year was no different. Everybody loaded up. We still have a ton of leftovers, which, you know, I love the leftovers. My mom made me some more banana pudding today because we had like none of it. What we did have left over, my nephew took home with him yesterday. The cake, I had 1 slice of cake, which is good, you know, being that I'm a diabetic, I should not be eating cake, but we did send the rest of it back home to Kentucky yesterday when they left. They had to go home a day early because a winter storm was coming in. It was supposed to have hit at 4 o'clock this morning, but it waited until 10 this morning and it has started. And I did take a clip of it outside, and I will insert it like right before I put in the bread making video at the end of this video. But I really enjoyed spending time with everybody. My uncles came, my uncle's girlfriend, so we'll just call her my aunt. She was here. My cousin was here with her fiance and son, came over. We made a plate up for my aunt and her roommate at the nursing home, and me and my sister and my mom, we went and dropped that off. However, we didn't stay long because the reason my aunt wasn't here helping with us this year, which we had planned, like we were going to go get her and she was going to come and stay, but she got sick and it was almost turning into pneumonia, so we did not bring her out in this cold weather because it turned real cold right there at Thanksgiving up here in Northeast Indiana. But we did take her and her roommate a plate of all of the foods and, you know, desserts, and we dropped them off, and we, you know, visited for just a little bit because, you know, we didn't want to contract any illness, nor my mom's got the snifflies, so we didn't want to give them anything that my mom may have had. So, yeah, it was busy and it was fun. How was your all's Thanksgiving? I hope that you guys had like good eats and like lots of like fun with family time and stuff like that. Maybe got a little bit of crafting in. I did not. It was so busy that I didn't get anything done, but I did today get my F-bomb finished, and that's why I thought I need to get on there and make a video so I can hang out with everybody since I got something to show them. Yeah. So upcoming, well, it's almost December, so it's almost time for Vlogmas, and I did receive a package from Summer today, so it is the first of 2 packages. So I got that. I did check on my package where it was at. It's still in Louisville, so Summer, if you're watching, it's on its way. It's going to be late, I suspect, seeing as we're just a couple days away from December. But that's the first of, I'm thinking like 3 packages for me, because I have almost all of the stuff packed into the second box, but I think I've gotten all that I can fit in the second box, and I'm still 3 packages short, 3 gifts short, so I think it's going to be split into 3. I've had a hard time coming up with some boxes this year that fit all of my stuff, so there's that. But me and Summer are doing a swap. That was the segue into that I just didn't make it all the way fully there too. But I do have my first box, and I will be able to start with her gifts on the 1st. No big deal. If I didn't, I would just play catch up in a video. But I'm also going to be reading from this book right here, Christmas Miracles. Last year, I read from this book, The Magic of Christmas Miracles, excuse me, which is the second book to this book. So I thought I would get the first book and we could continue that. There were a few people who liked those, so I hope that it's okay that we're doing it again. And I do have some extra videos that I'm going to sprinkle in for all of us spooky guys and gals who like to stay spooky all year long, not just at Halloween. But I found a book, it's on my Kindle, and it's called Spooky Christmas Stories. Let me see if I can find it here on my iPad. Let's type in Christmas. Okay, it's called Christmas and Other Horrors. So hopefully there's some good like short stories that I can read. It says a winter solstice anthology. So I do like Stephen Graham Jones and Alma Katsu and Josh Mallerman. So I know they write good stories. So I'm hoping that there'll be, you know, some good ones in here for us. And I thought, you know, just in that video, it would just be me reading a spooky Christmas story. So pretty excited about that. And my Potiversary is coming up this year, December 31st. it will make me 5 years on the YouTube. I don't have anything worked out for the party yet, but I am going to come up with something. I would like to do a nice, fun giveaway. That's always a lot of fun to do, so I'm going to work on that. So stay tuned for more information about that. But I guess I'm just going to go ahead and end the video of crochet stuff here. Now, if you want to hang out and make a loaf of bread, that's coming up at the end of the video, and I'll just talk a little bit about it. So store-bought bread has increasingly, to me, now other people that I talk to, they're fine and everything, but to me it has become disgusting. I do not like store-bought bread. I very rarely eat store-bought bread. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't like the fact that it feels wet all of the time, and that it doesn't seem to want to grow mold. It's very intriguing that there's that many preservatives in our breads now to keep them fresher longer, that it's like takes months for them to mold, and I just feel like that's not healthy. So I have started, making my own bread, and one of the easiest ways to make bread is in a bread machine, because really it's one of those fix it and forget it's. And you can find bread machines at any thrift store. Like every time I go into a thrift store, I always see a bread machine. And fun fact, that's where I bought my first bread machine, was at a thrift store. It's called the Depot. I paid like $9.99 for a bread man. And the only reason that I don't have that one now, it worked perfectly. It was brand new. It still had the book in it. Like you could tell this thing had never been used. The only reason that I upgraded is the window where you can watch and see like what's happening with your bread. I was at a barn sale with my aunt, and I found, and it was the Bread Man brand, but it's like got a big circle, and I was like, oh, I would like that much better. So I did bring it home. I cleaned it up. It was like fairly new, like the basket and the paddle were not scratched up or anything, but one of the legs was broken, and it wobbled all over the place. And I just so happened, like just a couple weeks later, I went to the Goodwill and I found the exact same one, and I went ahead and bought it, and that's how I ended up. And now I did, I just kind of threw the barn sale one away because the leg was broken. It wobbled all over, and I tried to make it to where you couldn't wobble, but I still used it. But I did keep the basket and the paddle from it, just in case something happened to the one I have now. But that's the only reason I upgraded. And the original one my sister still has and uses to make bread with, so it's still good. Like those ones, because it was real popular in like the 90s to do the bread machines. So yeah, so, and it really is, it's fix it and forget it. You dump the stuff and then that's that. So well, I'm gonna let you guys go. If you want to hang around and see a little bit of snow and make a loaf of everyday white bread is what we made, stick around, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Okay, since Thanksgiving is over, guys, you got all of those leftovers, and one good way to eat those leftovers is by making sandwiches. And today I'm going to show you guys how to use a bread machine to make you a fresh loaf of bread for all of those sandwiches. So I do have my bread machine here. It is a Breadman bread machine. I found this bad boy at the Goodwill, so you don't have to buy new. You can buy from the Goodwill or any of those thrift store places, but you can find them on like Amazon. But the first bread machine maker that I got, it was also a Breadman, and I got it for 10 bucks at one of my local thrift stores. And then I found another one. It was just like this one, only part of its leg was broken, but I found it for $3 at a barn sale. But I like to watch my dough mix, and this has a big window, so that's why I upgraded. But I did give my other bread machine, my first one, to my sister, and she uses it to make bread. So even those old bread machines from like the 90s, when they were like all the rage, they are still working and they are still good, so you can give them a new life. But today we're going to use this book right here. It's called the No Fuss Bread Machine Cookbook. I got mine from, I believe, Thrift Books, but it was one of the books that I had spiral bound because I use it so much that I needed it spiral bound. But we are going to make everyday white bread, and we are going to make the 12 loaf version. So I do have all of the ingredients out here, but pretty much to make a bread machine bread loaf, you just follow the instructions as it's written out. Like put all of the ingredients in your bowl just the way it says to, and then you turn it on, and in a couple hours you will have a nice loaf of bread, and you didn't have to do anything. So these make making homemade bread very good. So we're going to start by placing our ingredients in the bread machine. So the first is 1 1/8 cup of water. It says heated to 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I heated mine up in the microwave for like maybe 10 seconds, and that's good enough for me. So we're just going to add that into the little bucket. Always make sure that your paddle is attached. I do forget that quite often, and it's no fun having to dig through all of your ingredients to attach your paddle in at the last second. So just make sure your paddle is attached, and that your basket is down inside your bread machine. And that's one thing when you're looking at used bread machines in the thrift store, always make sure that there's a paddle, because some of them, the paddle will be lost, and you don't want to buy a bread machine with no paddle because it won't knead or stir up your ingredients. Next thing on the list is 1 1/2 tablespoons of melted butter, cooled. So I have my butter here in this container. It has been melted and it has cooled down. So we're just going to plop that right in there. The next ingredient is 1 1/2 tablespoons of sugar. So we'll just put that in. Then we have 1 teaspoon of salt. Got my salt. Salt is salty. Now it says 3 tablespoons of skim milk powder. I have whole milk powder, so that's what I'm going to use. That is one thing that you might not have in your kitchen to start with, but we don't drink a whole lot of milk here in this house, and a lot of recipes call for milk. So I always make sure I have some powdered milk on hand. So when I get a hold of a recipe that wants milk, I'll always have the milk. So in my house, I always have powdered milk, and I will leave a link below. I do buy it off of Amazon. My aunt used to give it to me when her husband was alive. He used to get like the Meals on Wheels type deal, and it always came with powdered milk, and he never drank it. So I used to get my powdered milk that way, but now I buy it off of Amazon, and I will leave a link down below. So we're going to put some powdered milk in. And then 3 cups, it says bread flour. I always just use all-purpose flour. Now I do splurge a little on my all-purpose flour because I do want the unbleached, and I always go with the King Arthur because it has less enrichments added into it. So that's one good thing about making your bread is that you know the ingredients that are going into it, so you're not getting all of those preservatives. So you want to try to buy the best bread that you can. But I never use bread flour. I always just use all-purpose. So we're going to add this in. Try not to make a mess. So that was 3 cups. And then the last ingredient is some bread machine bread flour. It's yeast. It says 1 1/4 teaspoon of bread machine or instant yeast. So you don't have to have the Fleshman's bread machine yeast. But I got a good deal and got it on sale at the Kroger. So that's what I'm using. So we're going to put this in. So I got a teaspoon. And then, let's say 1/4, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon. One pro tip is to store your yeast in the freezer. It keeps longer and keeps its activation stuff as fresher if you don't use it a whole lot. So now we're going to move on into the instructions, and it's going to tell you how to choose your loaf size, what crust, and then what bread that you want here. So I did make the 1 1/2 pound loaf. So we're going to select our here. So I'm going to do loaf size. I'm going to go down to the 1 1/2 pound. And it tells me here that I want to set the machine for the basic white bread. So I'm going to select number 1. It's already there, so that's what I want. And then the crust, we're going to go with a medium crust. So we're going to set it on B. And then you're just going to push start. Sounded like I wasn't attached, but I was. I don't know why I done that. But I'm going to take you guys in a little bit closer so that you can see the dough being mixed up. So hold steady. So hopefully you guys can see that there being mixed up. So what I like to do is when it finishes this mixing cycle and it starts mixing real fast, I will go in and I will put the spatula and break the sides of it down just so it incorporates all of that. And so I will show you guys when all of this is done and cooked, and you'll see our loaf of bread. I'll see you guys back here in almost 3 hours. So the bread is done and it's ready to come out of the bread machine. So we're going to let it come out and go here on a bread rack. So we're going to lift up the handle and pull it out. So of course everything is super hot because the bread baked in the bread oven. And you can also make like rolls, like dough in the bread oven and not bake the bread. So now we're going to flip this over and take the bread out. Give it a wiggle. Voila! Now I did take the paddle out after it's last punched down. You don't have to do that, but I don't like digging the paddle out of the bread. So you get a nice bread loaf. Here's the front of the bread. We got a nice loaf, and then of course your bottom of it is going to have either the hole or the paddle indent. And I just like to take mine out. Again, you don't have to. So we're going to let this set and cool. And there is us a loaf of fresh baked bread for our holiday leftovers. Okay, that is just everyday white bread in the bread machine.